Bé, doncs, benvinguts un altre cop a les Fridays d'ITNIC. Dir-vos que moltes gràcies per venir un divendres més i que, bueno, dir-vos que estem aquí cada divendres donant xerrades sobre enginyeria, sobre màrqueting, sobre negoci, sobre disseny. I, bueno, que si voleu estar una mica al dia del que estem fent, us podeu apuntar a la nostra web, eTNIC.net, a la secció d'events i rebreu un mail setmanal sobre el que fem. Dir-vos que aquí a eTNIC ens agrada molt compartir coneixement i que també ens agrada que veniu vosaltres i que si teniu ganes de compartir alguna amb nosaltres, doncs que podeu contactar amb mi i ja saps on estic. Moltes gràcies per venir, us deixo amb el Jordi. I bueno, la xerrada la farem en anglès, sí?
Sí.
Perquè tenim dos parelles en anglès, i això que disfruteu i anem al punt.
So a couple of technical things. If you want internet, you can use this Wi-Fi. If you want to tweet about, you can use that hashtag. Okay. So we're going to talk about how to start an e-commerce business, and I'm going to try to cover everything and nothing at the same time. So just kind of give you the main clues on how to measure your possible success and what tools you should use and know how much you can make and how much everything's going to cost. So, that's me by the way. My name is Jordi. I work here at eTNIC, and you should follow me on Twitter. That's my handle. And once I was in front of a cow, and it was very scary. So, as I said, this is eTNIC. Xavi almost introduced eTNIC. What we do here is we help entrepreneurs create internet startups. So we are both a technological and marketing partner. And right now we have 9 projects going on. Some of them are e-commerce, and some of them gave us the knowledge that I'm going to try to share with you now, and they are good examples of how we do things. So, e-commerce, I guess all of you know what e-commerce is. It means electronic commerce. It means trading goods online via internet. Mainly we want to sell stuff online. So we're going to cover more or less these items, these questions. Why do we want to sell stuff online and not offline, or not just do something else? What are we going to sell? Where are we going to sell it? That's kind of obvious. And to whom and how. So to have an idea, the why is kind of the motivation of why we're all here and why we do what we do at eTNIC. The what is not, I don't have an answer for that. So everybody can sell what they want. We're just going to see what kinds of goods you can sell. And, well, you're going to see the rest. Let's start with the why. So it's always cool to share some charts. I didn't make this one, but it's from Goldman Sachs, so it looks good. E-commerce is growing a lot, and it doesn't seem so, but it's growing around 20% a year, which is huge for such an established sector or segment as the electronic commerce. It used to be growing at like 50% yearly before, from the 2000 to 2010, and now it's still growing. And as you're going to see, it's growing even more in some more defined segments. This is global e-commerce, and we're going to reach 1 trillion next year, apparently, according to Goldman Sachs. So it's a big market. It's a market that is very good for technical people, like most of us are here, and it's also a growing market. So so far it's a very good place to be at. Most people think that e-commerce only works in the States, and kind of it does, because as you can see, the States is not a third of the population in the world or a third of the economy in the world, but Europe and Asia are still huge markets compared to the States, given that almost all of it started there. So the good news here is that Europe is not as small as most people think it is in the global e-commerce segmentation. And obviously anything that's not US, Europe, or Asia is actually quite small. So that means that it's both an opportunity and also it's a small market, and you need to do a lot of work to get it. This is a specific mention. I'm not going to talk about mobile e-commerce today, but I think this slide is very interesting because this is something that has been discussed a lot lately, which is that mobile e-commerce is multiplying by 2 or 3 every few months lately. It's a huge opportunity because people are tending to use more and more their mobile devices for everything, but specifically for buying online. And this is huge because if we know how to create a mobile platform to sell stuff, we're going to be on this huge increase. As you can see, we go from 1.2 billion dollars to 11, so 10 times it in just 4 years. That's a huge opportunity there. So we know why we want to sell stuff online, mainly to make money, right? So what can we sell online? I just made here 3 distinctions, but you can actually sell anything that some people can buy online. You can choose to sell some existing product. You can license some product. That usually applies for software or, I don't know, I can only think of software, but services and things like that. You can also think as a digital good. That's something that you license, like electronic book or a movie or something like that. You're not actually selling a product. You're just letting the user use it. Or you can create new products and launch them in the market. We're going to go deeper there later on how we sell this stuff, right? So where do we sell it? That one's easy. We sell it on the internet. That's it. How? I mean, to whom? That's the thing, right? So we're always going to use the internet. That's why we say it's electronic commerce. And there the question is, we have some product. We have something that we're going to sell. It has a price, but also it has a customer. It has a target. It has a segment of people that use the internet and buy stuff on the internet that wants this thing and is willing to buy it online. So here, there is one of the biggest distinctions that we have to make, which is the difference between existing demand and new demand. So people go online and look for hotel reservations or plane booking or used cars or buttons or stickers or stuff like that. But there are some other products that people just don't go to the internet to buy. Like they don't try to buy fresh fish online usually. Most people don't. So there's this huge difference between demand harvesting and demand creation, right? So we're gonna see what this difference means. We're gonna start with demand harvesting. It's just about discovering current demand seekers, what they're after. If it's our product, that's good. We can offer it to them. And then also it varies if there is already competition, if there's already somebody covering that demand or not. If there's not, this is a huge opportunity. I mean, if there is a demand and there is no offer for this demand, we have usually a huge opportunity. It's quite cheap to go after it. Nowadays, it's kind of hard to find this scenario because a lot of people had a lot of ideas and tried it during the last 10 years to sell almost everything online. Oh, also the main channel that we're going to use to investigate if there is this demand and how big it is SEO. That's how we're going to exploit it, and SEM is both how we're going to exploit it and how we're going to measure it. But we're going to see this in a second. So, what's this? Do you know what Google AdWords is? Who doesn't know what Google AdWords is? Can you raise your hands if somebody doesn't know? Everybody knows what Google AdWords is. Great. So, who knows what Google AdWords is? Because the rest of the people is just shy. One guy? Two? Okay, so most people are just shy. Okay, Google AdWords is what Google offers. I'm going to spoil you here. Okay, so when you Google for something, you have this box here and this box here. These are paid advertisements. And actually, Alba here gave an Indic Friday about Google AdWords a few weeks ago. And she told us how to create campaigns. But today, we're going to see how we use this tool to start an e-commerce business. So these results here, they're here because they're paying more than the other people. It's that easy. I mean, there are other factors, right? But this is the main reason why they're here. And this is good because you can just build a campaign today and be there tomorrow. You don't need to build a foundation, get reputation, and wait for months to appear here. And this is going to be awesome to just try out some crazy ideas. So Google AdWords is this tool, and it has a free tool that's called Keyword Tool or Find Keywords Tool. It's free. You can go there with this URL, or you can just Google Keyword Tool. So what do we do here? We say, I want to sell, sorry, this is in Spanish. I want to sell custom candies or custom chocolate boxes or something like that. Custom sweets, custom gifts, something like that. So you enter all the sentences that you think your customers are going to be looking for and which actually matches with what you're selling. And also it proves some kind of buy intention. So the user is looking for something and he's willing to buy it. So if he's comparing two products, maybe he's not yet at the buy stage. But if he Googles buy something, then he's definitely looking to buy it. So here you just put some keywords, and then you can specify, I think you can read it, but you can specify the location. You can choose Spain in this case, and the language. I chose all because I mixed English and Spanish sentences. So you submit, and then Google gives you this list. This is readable, right? Yeah. So here you have all the keywords I added, and then it tells you if there is a lot of people bidding against it or not, or something in between. And also it says how many people in the world are looking for that monthly, approximately. It's not exact, but it usually gives you an idea of an order of magnitude. And here it just filters out the region that you specified. So if you said Spain, it means that approximately 1,300 people is Googling for regalo chocolate, right? What does this mean? That if you position a website for regalo chocolate either with AdWords or with SEO, with organic positioning, you might have a big percentage of this number of visits if you are top ranking it. And it also suggests other keywords that you didn't specify, but he's kind of smart and he suggests. And it also gives you ideas, like obviously chocolate in Spanish has 30 million visits. That's going to be an expensive keyword, and that doesn't prove that the user is trying to buy what you're selling, unless you're Nestlé or something like that, which mostly if the user is Googling chocolate, you want him to come. But if you're just selling something as specific as something custom, then you usually don't want to pay for this keyword. But regalar chocolate personalizado, well, it only has 73 visits. Maybe it's not even worth the effort of building a custom page and creating a campaign for that. So you should look for results in this range or more, obviously, and it depends on how ambitious you are and how much can you pay for a single visit. And this is the result. If you pay for it, you appear in either there or there. The highest bidder is the first result. It's mostly that simple. So this is SEM, and also I can go ahead and introduce you that this is SEO. So this guy here is not paying for advertisement, although he is because he's here. But this guy here is just appearing here because he is truly the first result that Google thinks is worth showing when you Google that keyword. So here you can see SEO and SEM. This is awesome because you can experiment, and in 24 hours you can set up an e-commerce or a web page and see how many people is looking for that, and of those people, how many click in your page, given the description, the URL, and the title of it, and when they're there, if they have intention to buy. So maybe you can just put a sign-up form or ask for more information, or even create a fake e-commerce site, which you can do. You can just pretend that you're an e-commerce, although you don't sell anything. What's going on, Pedro? Well, I mean, there is an obvious reason that these ones are where you expect the real result, and these ones are not. And also, that ones are more expensive, right? Is this right? So, but they're the same thing. It's just that those are the good ones. Okay. So, I was saying you can create even like a fake e-commerce or a fake platform where you say, I'm selling this custom candy. Just click here and buy them. And the user is going to say, oh, I want to buy them. They're like, what, 20 euros? So he clicks and he goes through all the process. And at the end, you can say, oh, I don't have them. I'm sorry. But now you know that out of 1 million people who saw that link, 1,000 clicked there, 100 almost bought. Or these numbers don't actually make any sense. But something like that is what you need to know to see if this e-commerce makes sense. And out of that, you can say, okay, I can potentially have 100 orders if I invest this amount of money in AdWords. But you can also say, if I ever get here with organic positioning, which you don't have to pay for every click for, you can potentially have maybe another 80 orders without having to pay per click. So that's how you kind of study the viability of the e-commerce and the search marketing strategy. This is easy, but you have to pay for every click. This is not easy. This takes time, and sometimes it's just impossible to outrank other pages such as Wikipedia or I don't know, chocolatepersonalizado.com that has been there for 10 years. I mean, it's quite hard to beat them. I would say that maybe between 2 and 3 months you can have a decent result if your SEO strategy is good, but it depends on what you do and who you're competing for. So if you're doing travel or booking or house rental or something like that, you're screwed, unless you're one of them. If you're just doing something else, maybe you have some chances competing, but that's what you use SEO for. So, SEM, it's good to experiment because you can have quick results fast. You can measure the click-through rate, which means how many people see your link and then click it and go through it. You can measure conversion rate with either a landing page with a sign-up form or a subscribe here for the newsletter, even a fake e-commerce, or actually a fully fledged e-commerce that actually sells stuff and maybe you just take longer to sell. And it can give you a reference for what's going to be the cost per click later. So you can scale up the business if there is more traffic. SEO. It's slow if you do it properly. There are some dirty tricks to do it faster, and I guess we're going to do an Indic Friday about Black Hat SEO, if Xavi allows us to do so. It's scalable because you have to do an investment to have the foundation there, to have organic visits. But once you have the foundation, then traffic keeps coming, and you don't have to pay for every click. It's a real competitive advantage. What does it mean? With SEM, the highest bidder gets it. So if you're competing with someone else with more cash, and your products are both replaceable with each other, and he just bets more, he's going to be first in SEM, and then you're screwed up. If you have a good SEO strategy and you have a good positioning, then a new player is going to take a while to catch you, and maybe he doesn't do it because you keep improving it. And virtually free clicks, that's not true, but what it means is that you don't pay per click, right?
Just one question. You're paying in order to be there, or just for the clicks, or both of it?
Actually, you can choose, but most people just pay per click in AdWords. So AdWords is a bigger product than this, but here you just say, I'm going to pay per click, and you can either say a maximum of amount per click that you pay, or you can say you manage, and my maximum budget is, I don't know, 100 euros a month or 1 million euros a month. It depends on your volume. And then it adjusts. If it's a very competitive keyword, it's going to be a more expensive one, like hotels in Barcelona. That's going to be fucking expensive. But maybe custom candy is quite cheap. So you have more clicks for that amount. So you don't pay for being here. But being here and getting clicked, which means that your ad is relevant to the user, makes it have more chances to be here. So there is like a quality of the campaign that Google analyzes to see if you're the good option. So if your page here is a porn page, porn, you're going to be banned. But if you're selling cars and you say custom candy, he's going to say users that Google custom candy don't want to buy a car, so I'm not going to show your ad anymore. So there are some things to optimize the chances of being here on top and of lowering your cost per click. So if you say custom candy and all your website is only about custom candy, then it's going to be cheaper than if you say custom candy and your website is about, Corte Inglés or something like that, where you sell everything and you also sell this thing, because you're not as targeted as you could be. So we were here actually. So this was demand harvesting. This is very good for starting. It's very good for having a quick test of the market because the demand is already there. You just test it, and then you measure how much it costs you, and then you can decide if you can scale the business or not. Demand creation is another business. So you can also do that. It's slower. It's not as easy to measure, and it depends on other factors. So why can you need to do demand creation? Because you're selling a new product, and if it's a new product, the chances are that users are not looking for it yet because they don't even know it exists, or because it's a product that people don't usually buy online. So this can happen. Like we said, fresh fish. It's something that most people don't think I'm going to buy it online. So maybe now you decide that you're going to sell fresh meat or fresh fish or something like that online, and then you create a new website, but nobody's actually looking for that. You go to Google keyword tool, and there are like zero results for that. So does that mean that you cannot create an e-commerce there? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that somehow you have to train and educate your users or your potential customers to search for that or to get there somewhere else. So good luck with it. It's not as easy, it's not as fast, but no, you can actually do something. There's this thing called social media that it's like the ongoing debate that we have here. Is it measurable? Does it have a measurable return of investment? Can you actually invest there to get money in your company? This is something that is very hard to measure, and sometimes some people find it useless because it's easier to put money on AdWords and get some clicks on Exchange, and then you have your conversion rate, and then you obviously know how much you're getting from there. But this thing is useful for many things. One of them is creating this culture and educating and training your users. So there's also some products like Reality. I was discussing this with Jack yesterday. We were talking about a product that people are not looking for online. I don't know, imagine something for a community of designers. They want a designer notebook, a notebook specifically meant for web application designers with a grid and with some templates that you can use. So designers maybe are not looking for that enough. Actually, we checked it, and there was mainly nobody looking for that. But if you put it in a design school and people start using it, maybe you can spread it from there, and people think, oh, I want that notebook for designers, and then they go Google it. But first you have to put the seed, and that's obviously going to take longer, and it's much harder than to just customize some AdWords campaign. Offline marketing, custom education, I don't know. So what does that mean? This thing here means customer acquisition cost, and it's very simple to measure metric if you know how to, and if the channels that you're using allow you to. Like if you focus all your effort in social media and then magically you get orders, it's very hard to measure. You can say, okay, everything that I spent divided by all the customers I get is the cost of acquisition. But that's not very accurate because you're mostly spending things on long-term investments like a platform or a reputation or stuff like that. If you're paying AdWords, that's much easier because you pay $1 for a click, and then out of that, 1 out of 10 clicks from AdWords are gonna pay, and they're gonna give you an order. So you know that it's just 10 euros what you need, right? This thing here is the lifetime value, which is how much money a new customer represents for you. So a lot of times this equals to the order average. Like if you're selling socks and each pair of socks is always $20, you could say that the lifetime value is $20. But maybe if you're selling socks, it's something that people try, they like it, and they buy another pair and then another pair. And maybe the average is that they buy 3 pairs, and then the lifetime value is maybe not $20, but 60 or 50 or something in between. You have to take that into account because once you get a customer via any of the channels, actually you have to take into account how much he's going to give you back. Sometimes the average order is $20 and the cost of acquisition is $40, and then you think you're screwed and your business doesn't make any sense. But maybe that's not true because this guy keeps coming and he actually spends $200 in your store and you only spend $40. So it's actually a very good business, but you need to be able to measure this. Problem with this, it's very hard to know at the beginning because you don't know if they're going to repeat, or I mean you can guess, but as further you go in your trajectory and in your business, all the metrics get more precise, but also more complex to calculate. This means that things are good, so you're happy. This is like the reasoning behind, like the theory behind how to create, why do you want to create an e-commerce and selling what, for whom and where. But let's see how. I mean, we're not going to go into all the details, but just a main idea. So to have an e-commerce, what do you need? You need a website. You could also have a mobile application, but let's simplify it. You need a website. There are 3 options that I'm going to mention here, and there are many more. But the first one is a free one, and it means using open source software solutions. There are 2 of them that are quite popular. This one here, Magento, is a PHP open source platform for e-commerce. It's usually very ugly, non-performant, but at the same time, huge, highly customizable, and it has a lot of community support. This one up here, I find it very hackish, but I discovered that a lot of people are using this, which is using WordPress, which has nothing to do with CMS, with this plugin called WordPress e-commerce, which is actually not that bad, and it allows you to create a normal website that most of marketing/web people know how to use, and you can put on top of that an e-commerce module and sell things. This thing is not going to last for long, but maybe it's good enough for a market test. This thing can last, and there are huge stores using this. This is what you usually get with a Magento, so you can see it's typical trashy e-commerce, but it works. You can customize it, but I think it's worth going to a better solution if you move on. There is another option here, which is Shopify. Shopify is not an open source hosted solution, so something that you can download and install in a server. It's a platform, it's a software as a service that you pay a monthly fee for it, and it's much more polished, and it has a lot of templates and plugins and applications, and they have also a cool video, and I'm going to show it to you.
Meet Dominic and Crystal. They like to make cool stuff and decided to start a business together, but they needed a way to sell their products. So they decided to set up an online store, and they did it using Shopify. Shopify is a complete e-commerce solution that provides everything you need to sell online. It's so easy and affordable that anyone can do it. Start by picking a store template. or create your own. Add your products, upload your photos, and let Shopify take care of the rest. Within minutes, you're set up to run your business from anywhere and accept orders from all over the world. Go ahead, build your business. Shopify.
Okay. That was like spam, but I mean, they don't pay me anything. I'm sorry for that. Huh? No, they don't pay anything us. Actually, they're kind of a competitors to us, but this video is nice, and it also shows you what an e-commerce platform is meant for. So you can have a catalog. You also have a back office to create products, to create discount coupons, manage your orders, the shipping, and all these things. So it's kind of nice. So that was Shopify. And there is the third option.
Can you really sell worldwide?
Sorry?
Can you really sell worldwide?
Yeah. Actually, I created a store this morning for me to see, and I'm selling in euros and shipping everywhere in the world, and it works fine. So you're going to see some prices of this later. And there is the third option, which is... So these two guys over here, they're Alberto and Xavi. Shh, please, come on. So these two guys over here, they're web developers, and they're part of ITNIC. And these two guys can create for you like an awesome e-commerce platform, right? It's obviously not going to be as fast as just using some Magento or some Shopify, but it's definitely going to be better and more suited to your specific business needs. And also, you can further customize it, and then for both marketing, for both your customization processes, like imagine you just don't sell socks or ebooks. Imagine you sell something that it takes ages to introduce your measures into it. Or imagine that you have complex discount processes or complex checkout processes. There is almost no way you can just use a Shopify for that. So custom development is an option. It's almost the only option when you grow enough. For starting, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But if it does make sense, these guys here are very good. So this is just an e-commerce. So we made it, right? We got a website. This is actually a Shopify, which is the fastest thing I could do. And you can just sell some teas for £4, and you can ship anywhere. That's your problem, shipping and all the logistics. That's something else. We're not talking about that today, because that's the not online part of it. But just within like half an hour or 2 hours, if you don't really know how to, you can get this thing going on, and you can start accepting payments. So, like, that's good. You can have an e-commerce platform there to make money, to sell stuff on the internet to your customers through a platform that you can either rent or download online and customize or build for yourself. So, with that, you just make money, and that's almost all of it. But there is like this big question that most people ask, like, how much does this thing cost, right? I mean, otherwise, if this is all free, we could just right now have something, just build something, craft something, or buy something online and sell it somewhere else more expensive. So this is just an approximation of what it can take you to do an experiment. An experiment is the first thing that we were talking about, which is discovering the market needs. If you're doing demand harvesting, it means that the demand is already there and you just put the seed and get the results. To do that, you just need, you better get an unknown domain name. Just don't use something hosted and domain somewhere else. So you pay for something.com, that's even less than €8. AdWords. There are a lot of €75 coupons going on the internet. With that, you can have a quite accurate result to know what keywords can work and how much is the CPC. And with that, you can start your own test of the market. I would say you can put up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 euros to keep going on. So this experiment is meant to last between a week and 2 or 3 months. It shouldn't take longer than that. Usually within a week, you know how much you're going to make. And in this example, I just use Shopify because it's the most complete solution you can get for as low as $23. There are more expensive plans because this one has like a 2% transaction fee, which means that if you sell something for 100, they keep 2. I guess you know that. And as you grow, you can pay for bigger subscriptions, and then they lower this transaction fee. So with that, you have your experiment done. You know if the market wants your product or not, and you could start doing figuring out some of the other issues like logistics and shipping and customer service and kind of things that come on with support and with e-commerce or business in general that we're not talking about today. But after this 1 month, let's say, of experiment, say you want to grow, we were just doing that on our own name. And that's not completely a good idea, because if you start buying things and selling, everything goes to you as a person, and that's not completely regular. So you should incorporate a company. Here in Spain, that can be around $700 if you know where to find the guy. With that, you have like SL, Sociedad Limitada, here in Spain. In the States, maybe it's a bit, and nobody's going to the States here. So this is a custom development, which means creating your own website from that 2 guys that I showed before, or from someone else.
I don't think that's true.
No, what does custom development mean? What can you do here? So you can either just go with the Shopify, but let's say you want your own template, your own look and feel. So you can just pay a designer to create a template. That's quite cheap. Or let's say you want a complex thing with your own checkout process, your own measuring system, multi-currency, multi-language, whatsoever. So that can take up to millions if you're Fiverr, but sorry. It can take up to, it can take, I don't know, with something like that, you can find some provider that builds a nice application for you. And marketing, well, that's completely mystery. I just said 2,000 euros a month, but it completely depends. I mean, this can be some guy working on your SEO strategy, some guy working on your social media, and half of it going into AdWords or all together. So it could be, I don't know, a few hundred, or it could be a lot of money. And this is just an orientation for the first few months to a year, tops, as a hobby store that you start. If you really want to create a business, you should obviously, do this analysis in deep. And invest some money in it, maybe your own, maybe try to bootstrap it, which means try to generate revenue from day one and, feed the company with its own money. But that's mostly how you should grow it. Obviously, all these numbers are made up. I mean, there is nothing there that makes me say these numbers are going to be true. I made them up. They might make sense, but they might not. So that's mostly it. Now we should go for some questions. So thank you all. And, that stuff.